Oh, contact! That's a great start to the broadcast. Sliding into the third and fourth rounds. Literally sliding, oh my god. The third and fourth rounds of the ARC Touring Car Championship Cup Challenge. I forgot the acronym. Touring car racing. This time coming to you from the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Qualifying has just begun. Couldn't have timed it better. No, Riker? They waited specifically until the stream was up and then started it. Oh, I'm on track. I need to, not be. I'm not participating. It still thinks I'm participating, but oh well. I assure you I'm not. They'll just have to live with that, as there's just a 13th car in the qualifying session. He'll never leave the session, or leave the pit lane. I don't think they'll particularly care. I'm not gonna have a lap, they don't... Does that mean I've technically qualified for the race? Or at least attempted to? Do I score a point that way? Especially since Logan Taylor is absent. Anyway. Jokes aside, for the moment, I mean I always make jokes, but... yeah, we're seconds away from the start of the first handful of time laps. Looks like Robershad's going to be the first driver to begin one of said laps in the Vision 47 Genesis. I have to constantly remind myself that that is not called 44R anymore. It's been called that for so long that my brain just refuses to accept it could be named anything else. And the qualifying session officially is underway. Well, fully. We do have, in this session, I think there's one driver making their first start. But it's quite a heavy hitter, I would say. I think there's only one. Yeah, because everybody at least attempted last week. Like Pat Maher here. I never actually saw him on the stream because he was in the other qualifying session and he didn't make the field. I believe, anyway. And then we have, I think that'd be pronounced Rodrigo Regalado? Or Regalado. Regalado. I think it's Regalado. You think I would know, since this guy is a former Gran Turismo World Series competitor, but I just don't. Because the only ones that I'm really privy to are just the ones that show up as NPCs in the campaign mode and talk to me about liking baguettes or whatever, because stereotyping. Anyway, Stefan Robichaud will start the session off with a 14.7. Heredia surprisingly did not beat that, nor did Jackson Altman. We'll see what the new guy does as he hits the line. He seemed very displeased with his car's handling very early on in the shakedown session, but a 15 flat for, I believe that's Peru? Is that flag? I used to be much better at geography. I really was. Van Wee with a 15.8. That is a solid lap from him, as he was the last car. No, he was one of the back few that made it in at Brands Hatch. What is that sign on the back of the car? Okay, that's Martini. I thought that was the Datsun logo, and I was about to be incredibly confused, because I'm like, that's not even in the regulations. There is no Nissan in the regulations, much less a Datsun. AJ Knickel gets onto the front row proficiently alongside his teammate with a 15.01. His teammate is currently not on the track. That was very extensive on the track limits there from Alexander Brown, but the game did not hit him with the book, so I guess track limits are just lenient there. A 14.9 for Regalado, just short. Robichaud's first lap is holding up well up to this point, but he does jump Knickel with that time. Maher with a 16.6 he just finished. Still waiting on laps from a handful of cars, mostly Mustangs. That's an invalid lap for Daria. No, that is valid in the Mustang. It just bugged out on the screen. It's valid, but it's not very quick. And he is missing turn 1. Luke Allen missed last week, so I guess this is his first start, but also, like, it's Luke Allen. He's been here. I don't think it's any shock that he's here. It's a little different from the guy making his first ARC start versus the guy who just wasn't around last week. Speaking of around, side note, Happy Mother's Day. Doesn't seem to stop us from racing, but, you know, I know there are probably a handful of guys who are absent today because of any amount of Mother's Day festivities. Ever closer, Rodrigo is continuously closing the gap between himself and Stefan Robichaud, who himself is not on a flyer at the moment. He's on a lap, but just not a good one. 2/10 down. Let's see what Knickel does, getting every inch of that curb. He is pitting, that is what he will do. Logan Cool, I believe, is one of the last two drivers to not set a lap. 14.879 for Alexander Brown. Logan Cool with a 17.2, so he's ahead of cars. I believe I heard we were sending 5 home today. Certainly very different from the 14 I think we sent home yesterday? Wow, last week? Beware of sliding Kyle Voiles. That's gonna terminate Rodrigo's lap right there. Heredia breaks into the 14s, 14.941, getting ahead of Knickel by 7 1/1000ths. Ben Wee is continuing to improve with every single lap he completes. That's a 15.3 now. He's not far off of Altman. Seems the Genesis is more his style than the ECR Corvettes were. In GT3, he was able to make the races comfortably in AEC, but he was never exactly lighting up the charts. I guess you could say he's not doing that now either, but 7th as a starting position is much better than what he had been doing. Although that's also, just from this lobby. Who knows what the other lobby looks like. The other 7 people over there. Heredia heads to the pits. Knickel, he's on a not lap, so no, duh, he's not pitting. He was really on a lap of significance here. Let's see if Van Wee can find more improvement. That's a no, I think that was a warm-up lap he was doing. He's pitting. Cool has a penalty and is on an out lap, so he might as well go back to the pits. Yep, that's exactly what he does. I think his session might actually be over for that. Darius in the Mustang needs something to develop here if he needs to get out of the bottom few. He will get to 8th in this session with a 16 flat. We'll see how the 2's car is doing. He's about to cross the sector line. We'll see if he's up. He is up by just shy of a 10th. Hopefully Kyle Voiles doesn't impede. He does. He has to overtake on a hot lap. Don't really ever want to do that. Getting towards the end of the session, probably starting the final lap for most drivers. AJ enters a lot of people with a 14.80, just short of Rigolado's time, who himself is only still 700ths off, but now AJ Knickel's 4,000th off of the Mustang driver. Next attempt for Robichaud. His first lap of the session has remained stout. Nothing has touched it yet. Jackson Altman improves, but not his position. Looks like Knickel will be the first driver to be done with his qualifying session here. This will be his last chance to steal pole away from his teammate. That is an awkward-looking bounce. Remains to be seen if that's ended the lap or not. Maybe that was faster. I couldn't tell. It just didn't look good. To the start-finish line, it is a 7-8. He barely jumps Regalado. He will end the session just shy of the mark, half a tenth off. Luke Allen grabs a 15.4. Next across the line, Preston Van Wee, also 15.4, except his is not an improvement. Kyle Voiles with a 17.7. That's not going to get him too far. Robichaud not improving. I don't know if he needed to. It's down to a duo of KVM cars to try and steal that from him, or possibly Heredia, if he can pull something out of his hat. Alexander Brown, no improvement. Rodrigo Regalado heads up to the line, and his time is barely pole, 6.71, 0.06 over the previous pole sitter. Not an improvement for Heredia, a penalty for Altman. Not a time for that, and that is the session over. So we can at least determine 7 of the people who are making it. The top 7 have definitely made it. And it remains to be seen which drivers from Rid 1's second qualifying lobby are also making it. Also, the game is definitely waiting for me because I'm technically on the track. It's going to run the countdown out. There's going to be like another 3 minutes. Or is it 2? Okay, it's not 2. Could also be Darius. He's also in the pits. I don't know how it is, why or how this game does this stuff. Qualifying should be over now, though. 3 minutes have passed. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and that's my fault. I forgot to back out of spectate, or back out of and go into spectate. You know what I mean. And now we wait for the starting grid to be set. Well, first we have to merge the 2 lobbies, anyway. See if I can do this math. So Itkunen, Yoshi, and Hamza make it from the other lobby. Then Luke, then Isaiah Hines, then Darius, then Joel, then Ravi Ganesh have made the race. So the cut line is certainly not the 1,000th it was before. It was 400ths between Ravi Ganesh and I think Matt Wright. So Joel Grant makes an arc start, which is kind of nuts. his DNQ streak in ARC has come to an end. I don't know how long it is. I can't even begin to imagine. I know that AutoRacingConnected is live. I am the one who started the stream Discord for the last time. There's the written confirmation. Ravi Ganesh is the last one in on a minute 16.18. So, and there won't be a consolation. Not that that really matters. Not that it matters to the live stream anyway. So, it'll just go qualifying order, which means. Oh yeah, there's Ravi. Duh, yeah. I guess. Yeah, Matt Wright with effectively 17th, then Pat Maher with 18th, Logan Cool 19th, I think, and then Kyle of Wales gets like effectively 20th place points. I was about to say, are we about to go back to practice sometime? I was confused there. I thought the game was like broken on me or something. I wish I had like some elevator music to put on, or like a standby screen, you know, just to pass the time until the starting grid's set and everything. I always found it weird how even the American Ford Mustang GT4 has its speed in kilometers an hour on the like little dashboard on the wheel. Okay. I imagine that was setting the starting grid. So I think once everybody in the lobby other than me is on the track, the race should begin. So, thank you, lungs. All 3 GR racing cars have made the main event. I think only one was in. I think it was just Hines in the last round, so... I'm trying to... Actually, yeah, I was driving around in the practice lobby before qualifying started and everything, and I managed to... You know, I drove around to kill time. I ran in my own Subaru that an alternate livery for Logan Cool that I made that we might see at some point in the season. Not sure. I guess it just kind of depends on what Logan feels like doing, if he decides to use it. But, during said session, I ran a 15.9, I think, which would have actually gotten me into the race if I were able to do that in qualifying, which I doubt. On a theoretical level, I had enough pace to make the race if I were actually racing, but I'm a lot better at commentating than I am driving nowadays. I don't necessarily say like, oh, I suck completely at driving, I'm a midfielder. But, you know. When you got basically 8 drivers capable of winning a race a week in and out, I mean, you got... I'd argue you got Altman, you got... I have a hard time believing this guy's not race-winning potential, considering he just took pole. Robichaud's up there, Yoshi can be up there, Heredia can be up there. I think Alexander Brown may have the potential, but he's just kind of on the outside looking in. I say that. It's quite a save. But yeah, even just like the guaranteed ones, like these are definitely race winners. You definitely have AJ, you definitely have Ridwan, you definitely have Eunice, even if his run at Brands Hatch was kind of disappointing last week. You definitely have Stefan, you definitely have Rodrigo. That's at least 6 people that are a threat to win the race every week. Jeez. So, you know, the midfield starts at 7th out of a 15-car grid, and pretty much everybody except those 6 are vying just to even make the field every week, I should say. Like, it is a straight up dogfight just to get into the race. We got a little impromptu conga line here going on. We haven't even started the race yet. Leave the DRS train for later. Are we trying to drift? What are we trying to do here? Are we trying to line up in our grid spots? Oh my god, I thought for a second somebody was on the Rallycross circuit. I was about to lose my mind. I'm just gonna... Yeah, have fun with that, Yoshi. There's a traffic jam going on. Bumper to the back of the 08. I'm just gonna... no, you can't even say it's the 08. Yeah, because Rodrigo was kind of pressed for time. I'm just gonna put the camera in here. This is hardly professional behavior. I think they're in the background trying to get the consolation race started because, because, Ox the Colonist showed up a little late, but he showed up just in time to do the consolation. Here we go. I'm about to say, somebody's in a hurry, huh? Alright, so starting grid. The debuting pole sitter of Rodrigo Regalado, because every single person who debuts in ARC is either set to win the championship from the outset, or literally doesn't know what they're doing. There's no in between. Robichaud lines up second, followed by his team owner AJ Knickel, then Alexander Brown, then Alexis Heredia, Ridwan Hamza, Jonas Itkunen, Jackson Altman, Boriyoshi, Preston Van Wee, Luke Allen, Isaiah Hines, Darius in the Mustang, Joel Grant making his first, qualifying for his first race ever since I started doing commentary for GT7, and his team owner Ravi Ganesh will round out the grid. Grid. What is that? Put a bit of English on that. Grid. The starting grid. So we're not just taking this, we're not starting at the start-finish line, we are using like kind of the F1 start line, so I think I read it's anywhere between the penalty line and the overhead gantry is when Rodrigo can choose to floor the gas pedal and get this show on the road. And we are green from Catalunya. Really kept me waiting there, huh, Rodrigo? 244R cars are going to be too wide heading towards T1. Let's see if there's any mess ups in the braking. Oh, there definitely are, although there could also just easily be netcode since this is GT7. 3 wide for third place with Robichaud and 2 Jaguars. Robichaud will leave that in third, but AJ Knickel picks off his teammate off the line. Ridwan to fifth. Jackson Altman in grave danger, nearly spinning the car out as he's under threat from Alexander Brown and somebody else. I couldn't see the name in time. Everything was kind of normal out of the hairpin, and then now they're just 3 wide there. Now it's 2 wide. Yoshi has to try to go the long way around Alexander Brown. He just might. No, he has to do it again. Brown hops the curb like crazy to try and stay in the battle. A bit of door banging through the chicane, and eventually Yoshi is away with the position, and immediately Isaiah Hines, the heck of a start, gets ahead of the Mustang as well. Alexander Brown has not had the race start he wanted at all, dropping several positions off the green. But Yoshi also just got a penalty, so he'll be getting at least one of them back. Down the inside goes the 13 car, barging Isaiah Hines off the road. Never mind, that's just lag. There was actually no contact, I don't think. GT7 is trying to deceive us. looks like Van Wee's going to be able to, no, he actually, no, he just, I think he just let that battle go. No, he was fighting Hines, not Brown, I'm dumb, and Hines just backed out. AJ Knickel has taken the lead. I don't know how I didn't notice that happening. Logically, the Mustang should have a good top speed, although AJ also just grabbed a penalty, so not this lap, but the next, he will be losing that lead unless something unforeseen takes place. Ready with a good shot at the Rain-X Genesis slipstream, and a better run out of the last turn, but he still has to get it done on the brakes. Robichaud not leaving him any space to give. That's not English. Using the good old pinch maneuver, Robichaud fends off the 6 car. It is just getting, never mind, it's getting worse for Hines. Actually, I think he's just back to where he began, rather. A battle is brewing between the two leaders. I don't think AJ's reign, pun not intended, is going to last for too long. He's going to have that half-second decel. He's going to have massive oversteer. Regalado is going to have even bigger oversteer. This car nearly got jackknifed. Robichaud tries to cut through. There's something unforeseen that I mentioned. Does that count as commentator's curse? I didn't specify what happened. I didn't even specify that it would be something that would happen to Rodrigo. Technically, what I would have said could have been true if AJ spun, or if everybody spun and we had a big safety car. That would still change the leader. So now he must defend from Robichaud, who would like to take his second place back. He never actually had second place. Now that I think about it. Actually, I know he started there. I'm dumb. Crossover attack. Heredia also definitely a part of the fight. Never mind, that was actually completely normal. That looked a lot tighter because of the camera angle, but that's actually just normal driving there. I thought they were about to collide. I think Ridwan just gave Heredia the slightest tap at the apex of the hairpin. I was about to say turn 10, but then I remember that that's not what that is anymore, because we've cut out a decent chunk of the racetrack in the national layout. All of the ducks in a line, AJ able to just break free and run for his life. That's a penalty for Robichaud. That's going to give the second position back to Rodrigo and also give third to the Jaguar of Heredia. Altman thought about a move on Hamza, but there was nothing doing. Oh, Luke Alvin overcooks the brakes. He's found some gravel. That's going to demote him to the back. I was going to say, I don't think the game's let you get away with that, but he already had that penalty. It just didn't serve before, so that's just going to get it. Actually, it's going to do absolutely nothing, and he's nearly going to run into the back of Heredia. He's going to concertina into the back of, or into the front of Ridwan in the chaos. Still very much AJ's race to lose at this moment, especially with that penalty for Rodrigo is going to send him back into this train, just in case he thought he was going to escape. There goes that idea. Robichaud will be there with him, though, so Heredia might get second here. He was a little ways back, but that deceleration is obviously going to absolutely murder Rodrigo. They're going to be too wide going into the first turn, but I think Rodrigo will be fine. Not fine is Alexander Brown. I don't know how he even got there, but he very much missed that by about an acre. Everybody behind 8th is a little more spread out. They're still definitely in a single file line, but they're just more spread out, so it looks less like a funeral procession, unlike 2nd through 7th, all going through the hairpin at the exact same time. Slightly wide moment for Heredia. Do you wonder if tire wear will do anything in this race? It looks like no. Yeah, everybody seems to be basically fine. Even Hines, who was notoriously difficult with his tires at Brands Hatch, Indy especially, doesn't really have any emerging tire concerns at the moment. Although we aren't even halfway through, so probably best to gauge then rather than now. Up a drink, orange soda, not really what I would have chosen for commentary, but it is what I have. Judging by all the coughing that I've been doing, I need it. Excuse me. Rodrigo has had a little bit of time without a major mistake, but he's not really. I said a major mistake. I didn't do anything. I did not jinx that man. He only wiggled the car. He's probably just pushing it. He ran his own personal best, but AJ had also just set the lap record for the race so far, so that means nothing. My brain didn't even register that. Boriyoshi, I think, attacking? Or is he... No, he's going ahead of Preston Van Wee if he gets this done. Is there room for a cutback from the 2-car? I'm going board with him as he tries. We'll see what he does. I don't think he'll do anything, though. I know, there isn't really an opportunity for that. That half second will push him back to Ridwan. And probably, potentially to Robichaud as well. He's definitely getting overtaken by Ridwan, though. Yeah, no contest there. But we will have a contest into turn 1. Can Robichaud get back to 4th place? More pinching, or that may just be a perspective depth perception thing. Around the outside goes the Genesis. Robichaud returns to 4th place for the time being. The gap between the front two cars is remaining pretty much exactly the same as it was, so there's still nothing to report there. Heredia is still right at the back of Robichaud. He may look to reclaim that spot that he had been robbed of, be it by way of penalty, next time he goes onto the front straightaway, if he can conquer the chicane. I would say he has conquered the chicane. About a third of a second exactly between them. Oh, well, never mind, that's not going to be served right now, but we'll see if Heredia even waits. He may not, but he also may not be close enough. I don't think he's going to get a pass down here. No, he will lie in wait. He knows Robichaud has a penalty. The position will be his in the long term if he just remains patient. Just as we, the audience, are patiently waiting for this race's action to kick back into high gear again. Because, Everybody's kind of just, we're getting the full Catalunya experience. Well, that's going to change the running order a little, that penalty, but everybody at the front has mostly kind of settled into their places, and now, yeah, we're definitely racing at Catalunya, and by racing, I mean we're just kind of doing some race strategy simulations. Except there is no race strategy simulation, there's no race strategy, it's your tires make it to the end of the race, or not, as Isaiah Hines certainly looks like he isn't. I have to wonder, he had workable tire wear at the GP circuit, but he just has not had any tire life in the main races, and it's just him. It's not a car thing, because there are other Subarus that aren't having nearly the same tire wear. Preston Van Wee being taken into turn 1 after the penalty. Ikunen is narrowly able to sneak by. Luke Allen is also right there, and we'll see if he can do something. His left front is not great either, but it's certainly nothing compared to the car behind him as far as just how bad it is. But Van Wee, who's also in a four-wheel drive car, his tire looks great. Huge defense from Preston. He knows Luke Allen is his fight. Oh, contact has to barge Ikunen out of the way. Through goes Preston, potentially? Yeah, he'll get them both after basically forcing Luke Allen to overdo it under the brakes. That's some Logan Cool defense. And Eunice is probably a little bit miffed as well, because that's obviously cost him a place. Alexander Brown right on the tail of, I believe, the man that brought him in dark. No, Heredia. I think it's both he and Altman that brought him in. So even if I had said that, that part would have been right. They've both since passed Robichaud. I'm not really sure. He's just had a big disagreement with the track limits so far in this one. Nothing doing at the hairpin this time. Oh, bumper to the back of the 6. Brown getting a little, well, touring car-ish. Now it's starting. Man, it is a snoozer in the top 3. That is for sure. Luckily we got this going on. Literally nose to tail to nose for a 4th position. The Alex Heredia train, something I think I'd say, that is understeer for Robichaud, and a penalty, as if he didn't already lose time from, I don't know, dipping it into the sand? I don't think that was necessary, but that just continues to show I was saying Boryoshi because his name's on the screen, as he's overtaken Altman after a penalty, but the ongoing struggle between Robichaud and track limits, and Robichaud is absolutely losing. That is a fight that you cannot win. And he's not the only one, we'll say that much. Yeah, your days are numbered there, Hines. Those tires are not they're not gonna get you anywhere, I'll say that much. Hines just concedes that. He brakes a little early, he just lets Darius do as he will. There's not much point, he doesn't have the tire left to battle that. Now it has been bumped up to a full second for the 06 car, as Alexander Brown nearly has a code brown over the curves of the final chicane. Could have been a pass from Robichaud. He was right on the back of that Mustang, but instead he gets an entire second of decel, and he's actually now closer to being passed by Yoshi than he is to getting a chance to pass the Mustang driver. AJ has not had the best laps, but that's also gonna be immediately undone because Rigo Auto has a penalty, so... he brought the gap down to less than... just over 2 seconds. It was 3.5 last time we looked here, but that half-second penalty is gonna reset the game state to where it was, unless AJ gets one of his own or makes an equal mistake. Whatever mistake he did make must have been recent, because it doesn't show in his previous lap times. I shudder to think what Rodrigo could do if he had a more on-meta car. He's in the Mustang, and he's fighting for the lead. When he's making turn 1, that is. But the Mustang is notoriously not very good in any category. So he's working with about 70% of the car and still running P2. I guess this is the battle on track. It's Preston Van Wee versus Jackson Altman. Altman with a really rough exit from the high-speed right. They are too wide. Can Preston get the acceleration? He missed the braking point a little bit, and he will not take 8th place away from the Jaguar there. Oh, I thought we were about to see a bumper to the back of the 2 there. No, he's the 2, bumper to the back of the 21. Altman's tires are also shredded, which is probably exactly why or how they've managed to get to the back of him as is. Let's see what Luke Allen sees, if anything. Actually, probably Eunice, because he's directly behind him. Luke Allen doesn't have a run. Oh, he does have a run. We'll see if he takes it. Yeah, look in the mirror, but also look ahead. Battle for 8th ahead of Eunice, which Jackson will defend again. But he's still fighting his tires more than he is anybody else on the track. Well, Luke Allen's cooked the brakes again. That's going to send him... Actually, he's not going to lose any places, but he's not going to be contending for 8th anymore either. Altman will, I think... his tire's going to make it to the final lap, and that's when he's going to have the hypothetical flat tire. In air quotes. He'll be fine for 18, although he's going to be slow. But they will be shredded by the time by the next time he takes the start-finish line. And Preston Van Wee he can't wait till then, though. That's the thing. He can't wait because he's still got Idkonen right there. And after that mess on the brakes, Luke Allen's left front isn't looking any better. Joel Grant is even worse, and Hines had to pit, so this has not been a day for GR Racing. The Subarus, now it's looking a little more universal. Now the Subarus are just all around struggling. The most out of all the front-wheel drive, or four-wheel drive cars. Front-wheel drive. Unreal, me. Brown right to the back of Heredia. This time we might actually see a bumper to the back of the 6, and he might mean it. Nothing doing at the front. Everybody takes a completely different line through the chicane. There's no right way to do it. There are 75 different ways to take that chicane, and every single one of them is completely awful. All the way to the pit wall goes Heredia, trying to keep that 13 car away as we take the white flag for the sprint round at Catalunya. Brown returns to the racing line, exits the racing line. I don't know how he even got that stopped. Around the outside, can he finish it off? Left-hander ahead. Very close quarters combat between the Jag and the Mustang. Heredia fends it off. One more braking zone to go. What does Brown do? What can Brown do for you? Can he get up to 4th place? That's what he can do for himself. Crossover attack? He's got it set up. He has to finish around the outside. Traction race. The Mustang wins it. Heredia still has a nose there. Big understeer from the Mustang. It's all over the curbs. AJ Knickel's gonna win, but that's not what we're really worried about. They're banging doors. They're both off the track. Robichaud has to just sit and wait as these two smack each other around like punching bags. Heredia is barely gonna remain in 4th place with no tires left. And Altman's tire is in fact gone. He's going to lose 8th and 9th. And that will do it. So it goes to AJ Knickel. In the middle of the practice, he literally said that I don't think these Rain-X cars are going to be doing much winning with him around, and then proceeds to do winning in the Rain-X car regardless. So if anybody is still listening to what AJ says when he says he's not able to win the race, just ignore it. He is lying to himself, let alone everybody else. And one pit stop later, the only driver that had to make one, Isaiah Hines, will come home in last. And that will round out the sprint round. And now, as my throat continues to protest, we have the intermission. It was not a very long one by the looks of things, though. I hate Brooks. There's some lore there I don't know, clearly. I was going to say, GT7, you want to load that? So I have been informed of what the actual format is. Sprint sets the grid, except for the top 6, who get thrown into a randomizer to determine who starts where, which is how Ridwan got pole from 3rd. Which is certainly, yeah, nothing I would have ever guessed, and probably nothing I would have ever done if I were making a league. Especially, unless it was like an invitational or something. So I'm trying to remember, I believe that would be AJ, Rodrigo, Ridwan, Jackson, no, not Jackson, Heredia, other Jaguar. Alexander and Robichaud that are getting thrown into the RNG. Oh, right, yeah, we are taking the full track, but I forgot. No, it's like, I don't remember seeing that sign there. Yeah, it's almost like we never went past there in the last several laps we've done, because this is the full layout. This is the the layout where it's even harder to pass. Great! I expect to see a real, real barn burner here. Oh, we're also using the better layout without the stupid chicane. That's a big stretch for me. I haven't really sprawled out in a handful of minutes, so I just feel like dozens of bones in my body just crickle and crack as I stretch. Just room one saying no. Did his mic break or something in the chat? How long does it take to pick 6 random numbers? Sir, you can't park there. Altman's having the time of his life while we wait for the randomization and whatever else may be going on out of view. There we go. Okay, Red One, quit rigging the dice roll. Quit putting extra weight on the number 3, man. You gotta stop. If I had a nickel for every time Red One has taken pole in the feature race after finishing 3rd in the sprint, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but can somebody please explain to me why it has happened twice? You'll be followed by Heredia, Robichaud, Rigaldo, Alexander Brown, and then AJ Knickel goes from 1st to 6th, so it's basically just like a order in verse for him. But for Red One, it's Happy Mother's Day. And obviously everything else from there on back is just the way they finished in the sprint unchanged. I see Red One is trying to blow the motor, leaving the car in 1st like that. Obviously he's actually trying to burn fuel, but it just looks like he's just trying to wreck the engine for, I don't know, car insurance claim? I'm not in his head. I'm sure it'd be a lot better at GT7 if I were, but I'm not. I say that like it isn't mostly in the hands and arms, or hands and feet if you've got a wheel, which is what I meant to say, but my brain decided to not, because why would we say things that are intelligent? Me-self, yeah, one more sip. That was not a sip, Riker, that was a full-on gulp. Anyway, we are just moments away from the future race's green flag. I assume it's the same restart rules as we had in the sprint. And we are green. There's no penalty line to based off of, but nonetheless, Red One takes off. Heredia will be clear ahead. No, he won't. Robichaud is alongside him. I thought he was alongside the Mustang. Nearly contact for 5th. The camera does not need to be this zoomed in, man. I can't see anything. Thank you. It hurt me. That is very tight racing between the 1st and 2nd place finishers of the sprint. It's almost a flip. Almost. Nudges to the back of the 6. Although there may have also been nudges to the back of the 06 from Alexander. Everybody's just shuffling around, trying to find their space on the track. There might have been some door-to-door contact there. It looked a little weird with the camera being super zoomed in on the gas cap of the Mustang for some reason. But everything seems to have settled out. Single file. Oh yeah, here's the Catalunya experience, baby! Come on everybody, do the conga line! Never mind, AJ, you're not doing the conga line. You're going down the inside of Rialdo and taking the spot away. No, this isn't how you're supposed to do the conga line. This is not the instructions I gave you. And the convoy might be over. That was a very good final turn for the Mustang. AJ takes a defensive line into 1. It may not matter. Never mind, it will. The Mustang's run stalled out. And there will be no room for a crossover here. Not when it's this section. Robichaud continues to have track limit woes, and now he's also got Alexander Brown, not exactly shoving his way through, but he definitely stuck the car there abruptly. Around the outside, can he get the acceleration off? We go down the hill. Robichaud has the better line, but he's also going to be hit with the penalties soon. Sudden AJ Knickel nearly forcing the 13 car off the road. His teammate back there is off the road as he's battling Boryoshi for 6th, and he's going to lose that fight. Are they about to be 3 wide up here? The camera's not helping. They are, in fact, 3 wide, going towards turn 10. Who will win under the brakes? It's going to be Yoshi, probably. No, it's AJ. He had the inside. He didn't win under braking, but he definitely went on the way out with 4-wheel drive versus front. 3 wide with 3 different drivetrains is something you only get in ATCC. Yoshi grabs a penalty, Rodrigo grabs a penalty, Van Wee grabs a penalty. Who doesn't have a penalty? Ganesh has a penalty, but he's already in last. Brown's not waiting. He wants that spot now, but he's probably not going to get a crossover attack. That is the zaniest crossover attack I've ever seen. It will not get him anywhere. He is sandwiched between track limit penalties. He's still getting it. He's going to do another crossover. How did he even get that momentum? You just defied physics to get back down the inside of the 41 car. I almost said of the Yoshi. And that will allow his teammate to pass as well in the chaos. Which is an actual important move because they're about to both get smacked by time penalties, as is the car in 8th of Van Wee. So there's just... everybody that has a penalty is just right here about to slow down. Jackson Altman is about to get a birthday gift right here. I don't know if he's going to get all 3. Straight's not that long, but he's going to get at least Preston. Never mind, I tell a complete lie. He may not even get Preston. He will get a penalty of his own, that's what he will get. And he's forced wide. I think there was door-to-door contact there. And I saw the lights flash. He tried to stick it there? Sir, turn 11 is not a passing zone, I hate to inform you. I don't know why he tried to stick his nose there. We might see a pass. Nope. Van Wee's gonna go defensive. Jackson has to go the long way by. But he can outbrake the Genesis. That was precise braking right there. It's not going to matter too much. He's going to have to serve that penalty in about 8 corners. But for now, he is victorious, and my hand just cracked. Ow! Ah! Robichaud continues to fight a war against the track limits of his own. Round 2 between Knickel and Rigaldo, as he's already been overtaken by Rodrigo's team owner. I missed that. No, wait, no, I didn't miss that. I don't know what I'm talking. I'm forgetting details of the race. I'm in the middle of commentating. I am cooked. My brain is cooked. What happened 4 minutes ago? I don't know. Great. Do we see an attack from the Genesis? We see an attack from the Genesis. Oh my god! That's a little too much there. That scared me. I can't imagine that Brown saw that coming. Can the second 8 car try around the outside? No. The momentum has died. Need to pack more downforce for that there, Rodrigo. But obviously it's not like you can just sit there and wait. Oh, that's, might be done waiting after that. AJ darn near missed the final turn. I guess on this version of the track, it's a little easier to do that than it is on, the National, where you have the chicane to take. 2 abreast. Who will be victorious on the way out of 1, 2, and 3? Because turn 1 is not the only one that matters here. It's not like the other layout. Looks like it's coming up Mustang, and there he goes, ahead of the sprint race winner, but that is a lot of understeer. I don't think the stewards are going to like that. AJ will pass him back following that mistake. And yeah, the stewards are going to backhand him. In case he didn't already lose an entire position by leaving the circuit, he's going to get a penalty anyway. Did the F1 game just take over? I know this is an F1 track, but holy crap. Ridwan is not simply running away like he did at Brands Hatch. Heredia is right there, keeping him honest, so we don't have that at least. We don't have that much of a repeat of history. Rubershaw with yet another time penalty. And serving, and Rodrigo serving his own penalty will give Boriyoshi 6th place. Although he had a really awkward exit, and Rodrigo just sneaks his way through and partially pushes, but that's touring cars. Can my throat just stop being a problem? That'd be great. You still got another, like, 12 minutes to go here. You're gonna have to deal with it, lungs. Yoshi down the inside, heavy on the brakes, late on the brakes, into the AstroTurf. The Mustang will easily reclaim 6th with that. Can Heredia offer a challenge, or he will just sit in his wheel tracks? The only drivers currently running 49s. Robichaud did run the fastest lap of the race, but he's been mauled by penalties ever since doing so. So, speaking of penalties, his team owner has one. I feel like I saw that on the front straightaway, and my brain was like, oh, there's a time penalty. But it never elected to, like, convey that message to my mouth that, hey, you should say that out loud, that there's a time penalty. And I guess it's just like, oh yeah, you see that, right? That's not the point, Riker. You're the commentator. You commentate. That is your entire reason for being here. Otherwise, you might as well just grab the popcorn and watch. Some days I wouldn't mind that, but that's kind of part of why I'm here. I like commentating, and a big part of that is because I like watching. As we watch Robichaud get yet another half a second. That's how many in 7 or 6 laps now racing? 7, including formation lap. It seems like the game, it seems like either he / the game would be determined to get a half a second on the formation lap if it were possible. Once again, kind of have like pairs racing. We got Heredia keeping Ridwan honest. We've got Alexander Brown on the back of Robichaud. He's about to pass him probably once Robichaud serves that penalty. Rigaldo is about to get back up to Knickel to fight for 5th again. And then we just have a small train of 3. Yoshi leading, Preston leading Eunice. So he's in a Volkswagen sandwich. I believe you might just call that a schnitzel. I'm not sure. I walk away and Alexander Brown gets up to third. What happened? Oh, a huge wiggle for the second 8 car. And didn't even really stall his momentum. He's still on the back of AJ anyway. He still has a chance to pass AJ if he decides to dive bomb, which I don't think he will. His front tire has seen some better days, though. Well, everybody's has, actually. That's just normal, I guess. The tire wear is actually legitimate here. It's not just the front... It's not... No. The front-wheel drive cars aren't getting it. They're the only ones that aren't, Riker. But apparently Heredia is. He's clearly having to push just to stick with the Volkswagen ahead. Five to go. Rigaldo now has 2 Genesises in his sights. It doesn't seem like it's a race until I've said Genesises. No, Rigaldo is going to stick his nose there. He's going to try the long way around. That forces AJ to adjust his line, though, which might soften him up for later, or it'll just achieve nothing. Trying again the long way around, you are really pressing your luck. This is GT4, not Super GT. You can't just do that in this car. I mean, you know, A for effort, absolute A+ for effort, but it's just kind of wasted at the moment. In these cars, you can't just send it around the outside and stick it, unless there's like a real big braking zone, which that wasn't, or the other car's tires are dead, like Isaiah's probably are. Or Joel's. Or the entirety of that team. Altman's tire is also dying. He's not had a race to remember at all. Down outside of the top 10. Red One is starting to gain an advantage on Heredia. His tire wear is only getting worse, and that's probably exactly why Red One is escaping. They'll be fine to get to the end, but they are still losing pace. And when you're fighting for the race lead, you will notice when that happens. Yep, this is the Catalunya experience. I mean, well, we had a verbal keyboard slam. That's still not going to lead to anything. Guys, just pit. You're already at the back. None of you have tires. Just take it and leave it. God, Browns are just as bad as Heredia's. I guess he really had to push his car to try and fight off, well, he tried to actually move up is what he's had to do. That's what it is. There's no team order. AJ is just going to take the spot. Although with how little Robichaud fought it, I imagine that was probably coordinated. Maybe he has the pace to get up to Brown in time. We've only got 3 laps to go. But also he's only a second and a half or so up the road, so you never really know. Or it could have just been a case of if I don't, or if AJ doesn't try to make a pass here, or just, you know, do something to keep his speed up. He can't let off and stay behind because Rigaldo is there. Man, Red One is the only car with more than 50% tire life, I think. Everybody else's... Okay, no, it's just the front... It's just the Scirocco's. Everybody else's, except for, like, kind of AJ and Stefan's, are just dead. I think most of the field is going to be doing the final lap with a dead left front tire, except for... Unless you're a Genesis or a Volkswagen. Also, you know, despite being called the sprint race, it's not really that much shorter than the main. Possibly an opportunity for the Mustang. We'll see if he can complete the maneuver. They are literally at a dead heat as we get on the brake pedal. Inching forward. Yeah, Robichaud concedes 5th place for Rodrigo. I was about to say the Mustang driver. I mean, yeah, that is in fact a Mustang driver, but he has a name. A time penalty for Alexander Brown, probably because he's contending with the understeer from that tire wear. This alone won't send him back to those cars, or it'll send him back to them, but he's not going to lose the spot. Reddy also made a mistake. Red One, yeah, congratulations, Red One, you win another feature race. That's a moot point. That's already basically a formality. We just need to look at whatever goes on for literally every other position in the top, like 8. Okay, 6. I thought those 2 were closer than that. They might be by the end of the lap, considering everybody else's tires are actually shredded, as we watch Alexander Brown literally not be able to turn in for the last corner because his tire is actually just gone. Rigaldo will head to 4th on the back of that. You can kind of play obstacle to keep Robichaud away for at least a couple of turns, even with the tire in that state. But that's about the most you can do. But Robichaud has a penalty again anyway, so... Knickel up to 3rd. Could very easily be 2nd, as Heredia's left front has also just died. And that is, in fact, the case. I think some netcode just moved the Mustang over there, but it's not going to matter because time penalty. Redia kept modest for a while, but Ridwan will once again win the feature race. AJ this time gets second, and that is a battle for fourth place. It's a drag race to the start-finish line that Robichaud will narrowly win by a half a tenth over Rodrigo. Ooh, Brown fell to 8th at the last second with his tire gone. Yeah, the list of drivers that had white in their left front tire is the shorter list. That is a brutal race for just for tire wear, both rounds this time. Although definitely more so the longer race. That was again not really that much longer. Imagine the scenes if this game had punctures. That would be a series ender, I think. Like, and over the line he goes. That will do it for me for the ARC Touring Car Cup from Catalunya. Everything in my room went dark there as a transition. I thought my power went out because it's been doing that a lot lately. I guess it can do that now because I've gotten the race commentated. I'm done, but yeah. No, I just transition. But yeah, that will do it from Catalunya. Shoutouts to SimMigPro.com and to the Racing Rats, our Assetto Corsa mod guys over there working on free mods that we use on our Assetto Corsa series on PC, and to DIVEBOMB, our title sponsor, motorsports media and news outlet. But I had in mind what the next race was earlier, and then my brain was just like, oh no, that's not important, is it? Yes, it's important. It is it's the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife round. Normally I'd be just in that, but that's not an option. I get to commentate it instead. So yeah, that'll be on offer this time next week. But until then, happy Mother's Day and see you later.